Hello elementary kids, so glad that you're here with us at the Spark, whether you are here in person or watching this online later on. Glad that you're here with us. We're going to get into our program here in just a bit, but before we do, just have a couple things to mention. First of all, this Saturday is our Trunk or Treat program. There's going to be trick-or-treating going on in the town of Francisville between 5 and 7, and we're going to have our Trunk or Treat event with adults handing out candy in the parking lot here at the church. So if you're going to be out trick-or-treating that day in Francisville, be sure to stop by. We'll have our green screen photo booth as we have the last couple of years. That'll be there again, as well as a bunch of adults handing out candy. So it'll be a jackpot for you on your trick-or-treat route if you are doing that. Also next week, next Wednesday, we're hoping to go back to more of a regular format. So the time for your small group and your group will change just a little bit. We're gonna meet at 6:10 and that'll get over at 7:45. And your small group is gonna have a little bit of a different room next week. Now, if anything has to change, make sure that your parents check Facebook. Make sure that your parents are signed up for the text message reminders. You should be getting a note about that today so that they can be kept up to date. If we do need to change that format, we can send out a message and let them know if you're meeting at a different time. Now, let's go ahead and get into our program for today. If you remember, we've been talking about integrity. That's our virtue for this month. And integrity, we're saying, is choosing to be truthful in whatever you say and do. And our memory verse to go along with that is Proverbs 10:9, which says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Now, as you know, we like to start things off with a little bit of a game. So today, we're going to see if you can find the truth in these facts about animals. We all love animal facts, so here's a few. Now here's what's going to happen, okay? I'm going to ask a random trivia question, and you're going to have four choices, four different options to choose from, and you're going to try to guess the right one. If you think it's the first answer, you're going to hold up one finger. If you think it's the second option, you're going to hold up 2 fingers. If you think it's the third, 3 fingers. If you think it's the fourth, 4 fingers. You're going to have 6 questions to answer, and you keep track of how many of those you can get correct. See if you can go 6 for 6 on this, all right? Just kind of the honor system. Keep track of your own points, all right? Now we're going to go through these pretty fast. You'll only have 10 seconds after I read the question and the possible answers. You're only going to have 10 seconds to answer, so make sure you're on the ball and paying attention. All right, first question. What are baby goats called? A few different options here. Do you think it's cubs, kids, foals, or pups? Which one of those are what we call baby goats? If you think it's cubs, hold up 1 finger. If you think it's kids, hold up 2 fingers. If you think it's foals, hold up 3. If you think it's pups, hold up 4. 3, 2, 1. The correct answer was kids, so you should have had up 2 fingers on that one because that was the correct answer. All right, next question. A newborn kangaroo is about the size of a what? Is it the size of a watermelon, the size of a lima bean, the size of a plum, or the size of a grapefruit? What do you think it is? Watermelon, lima bean, plum, or a grapefruit? The size of a baby kangaroo. 2 seconds. 1 second, here we go. The correct answer is a lima bean. A baby kangaroo is the size of a lima bean. Who would have thought? All right, next question. At most, how many pounds of meat can a tiger eat at one time? Oh boy, how much meat can a tiger eat at once? Is it 88 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 13 pounds, or 250 pounds? 88 pounds, hold up 1 finger. If you think it's 1,000 pounds, hold up 2. 13, hold up 3, or 250, hold up 4. The correct answer is 88 pounds. A tiger can eat up to 88 pounds of meat at one time. My goodness. All right, next question. What percentage of a cat's bones are in its tail? What percentage of a cat's bones are in its tail? Is it 10%, 20%, 2%, or 0%? Does a cat have no bones in its tail? All right, 10 seconds to find the answer on that. Hold up 1 finger if you think it's 10, 2 if you think it's 20, 3 if you think it's 2, or 4 if you think it's 0. Correct answer is 10%. 10% of a cat's bones are in its tail. Now you can go home and give your parents some random trivia they didn't know before. All right, next question. What are female elephants called? Are they called lionesses? Are they called cows? Are they called hens? Or are they called ewes? What are female elephants called? 1 finger for lionesses, 2 fingers for cows, 3 fingers for hens, 4 fingers for ewes. Hold them up now. 2 seconds, 1 second. The correct answer is cows. A female elephant is actually called a cow, if you can believe that. All right, one last question. What color is a polar bear's skin? Kind of a tricky one here. We know polar bears are white because they have white fur, but what color is the skin? Is it white, black, red, or pink? Hold up 1 finger if you think it's white. Hold up 2 fingers if you think it's black. Hold up 3 fingers if you think a polar bear's skin is red. 4 fingers if you think a polar bear's skin is pink. The correct answer is black. Should have been holding up 2 fingers on that one because, believe it or not, a polar bear's skin is black. So there you go. Learn something new every day. I didn't know that before today, but there you go. All right, that's it for now. So now we're going to go ahead and get into our favorite 1990s sitcom, The Adventures of Joy and Ian. Let's see what Joy and Ian are up to today.
Selling raffle tickets for the world's largest pumpkin.
I see that.
Yeah.
How many raffle tickets have you sold so far?
Oh my gosh, Joy, I've sold $500 worth.
500?
Yeah,
You mean
500.
you've had 500 people come here to buy a ticket from you?
They heard me and they came from all over. I think they even came from Rensselaer. They came all over, like just to get a raffle ticket. But look, Joy, it's like the world's largest. It is huge.
What would you do with a pumpkin that
Oh
size?
my gosh, you put it on your dining room table. It's great decoration. I mean, you could do anything with a pumpkin that size. It's perfect.
That is
and it's
huge.
such a good deal, Joy.
All right. How much for a raffle ticket?
They're usually $1 a ticket, but I got 3 left, so I'll make you a deal. I'll only charge you $3.
That seems to be $1 per ticket.
Yeah,
okay.
well, I'm making you a deal, Joy.
All right.
Yeah,
I will go ahead and buy 3 tickets.
Okay, there you go. There's the last 3 tickets.
All right,
Yep,
okay.
there they go.
So what do I do with it once I
Woo!
get it?
Rip them in half and throw the half in here.
Okay.
Yep, all 3, yep. Okay. You keep the, yep, there you go. All right, now, since I've sold all the tickets, what say we find out who wins?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's see, round and
Oh, I
round
don't
and
usually
round she
win. I
goes.
hope it's me.
All right, let's see. And the winning number is 2,837,000.
Wait, that's my ticket.
No,
That-
no, it
that's-
isn't. Let me see. 2,837. That's your ticket! You
I never win anything.
Joy,
Oh, this is so
let
exciting.
me go get you your prize. Hang on.
Oh, yes, this is so
So
great. I get the big giant pumpkin. Although, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm more excited that I actually won something.
Prize, Joy.
Oh, okay. I know what I was
Okay, here it is. Ta-da! Ta-da! Your big giant pumpkin.
What? That's not a big giant pumpkin.
Joy, that is your big giant pumpkin. Look in the bag.
I don't think I want to look in that bag.
Joy, look in the bag. It's your big giant pumpkin that you just won.
Seriously?
Yeah, there it is. Woohoo! Yay!
No, this is not a giant pumpkin.
Well, it is. It is a giant pumpkin. It's just in a different state of being.
But you told me I was going to get the giant pumpkin
And
that
it
looked
is.
like a hard pumpkin.
It is the giant pumpkin, Joy. I promise. It's just in a different form. Like, ice and water, same thing.
No.
Pumpkin and guts.
No, it's not the same thing. You led me to believe that I was getting the giant pumpkin, not guts. Oh, gross.
Okay.
Don't you remember our lesson on our virtue about integrity and how telling the truth is so important?
You always bring that stuff up to me, Joy.
I know.
I'll tell you what happened. I was bringing the big giant pumpkin over here for the contest, and I had to, because it was so big, I had the back part of my car open. I went over the railroad tracks, and it fell out. It smashed into a million pieces, and so I had to scoop up all the guts, and I've got 25 bags worth of guts in there.
25 more bags of
Yeah,
this
but it's
stuff?
all yours, Joy. It's all yours.
Oh, I don't want 25 bags of this stuff. I mean, I can understand what happened with the pumpkin and it falling off of the wagon. What am I supposed to do with this?
Well,
What are you going to do about the fundraiser? You are not truthful.
oh, the fundraiser. Oh, my gosh. What am I going to do about the fundraiser?
Well,
I've let everyone down for the fundraiser.
I tell you what, you're going to need to refund all the money back to the other
man.
people with tickets. I guess you can go ahead and keep my $3.
I can keep your $3?
Yes, for the fundraiser. What was
Okay.
the fundraiser for anyway?
Well, that famous fundraiser, the back pocket fund?
Wait, the back pocket fund?
Yeah, my back pocket where I keep my wallet. It's that back pocket fund that
Are you
needed
kidding me?
replenished.
That's what you were doing all of this for?
Yeah.
I'd like my $3 back, please.
Oh, but Joy, think of all the smiles you bring to my face with all the fundraiser money you've given
And
me.
no,
Oh, man. What am
no.
I going to do now? Look at all the guts
Well,
and the
I don't know,
seeds.
but I don't want to take this since you told me I was getting a whole pumpkin. I don't have any room for this. Why don't you take this back?
Why don't I take it back? Okay. Hey, look at all these pumpkin seeds. Maybe I could sell each one of these for $1 and say they're the babies of the big pumpkin. And then I could sell these, Joy, and I could replenish my back
No,
pocket fund.
I don't think that's a good idea. Let's
doesn't
just let's go.
Oh man, maybe you can help me clean up the rest of this stuff when we get home.
Oh, yes, there's a mess everywhere.
We often think about the Bible as a book, but that's not really the full story. It's really a collection of books, 66 books actually. Many of those books were originally written as letters. In fact, the Apostle Paul wrote letters to the people who had put their faith in Jesus in the towns where he had helped start new churches. And Paul wanted to encourage the people who lived in the city of Philippi, so he sent them a letter which we call the book of Philippians. And you see, life wasn't exactly easy for the believers in Philippi. But life wasn't easy for Paul either. In fact, he wrote this letter to the Philippians from prison. Paul hadn't done anything wrong, but he had been put in prison for telling people about Jesus. You'd think he might feel sad or angry or discouraged, right? We imagine Paul would feel that way because it's natural for us to focus on what's happening to us right now. It's also natural for us to feel afraid of what might happen next. If things are hard or challenging, we tend to focus on that, don't we? We might feel sad or angry or nervous, and if we do, it's important for us to feel those things. But if we're not careful, we can spend all of our time just thinking about everything that's wrong in our lives. But there's a better way. It means that we have to look differently at the things that are happening in our lives. And Paul told the Philippians how to do it, and we can do the same thing too. Here's what Paul wrote in his letter. In Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, we read this. Finally, my brothers and sisters, always think about what is true. Think about what is noble, right, and pure. Think about what is lovely and worthy of respect. If anything is excellent or worthy of praise, think about those kinds of things. Instead of thinking about the bad, we should focus on the good. And what is the good? And the verse says it's the noble and the pure, things that are worthy of respect, things that are excellent and worthy of praise. But what are those things? So let's think about a few examples. And maybe math isn't your thing, or insert whatever subject it is that stresses you out. Maybe you have a big test coming up and all you can think about is how you just don't understand what to do. The more you think about the test and the hard questions, the more anxious you get. What if instead you focused on the things you do understand? What if you did a few practice problems on the things you understand to help you remember that you are good at that subject? And what if you looked around to see who might be able to help you with the harder stuff? You'll likely find a parent or an older sibling or maybe even a teacher who would be willing to spend some extra time with you to help you understand. If you choose to have a positive attitude and look around for some help, then you can turn a bad situation into something good. Or how about screen time? Your parents probably give you a limit on that, and maybe you think it's not long enough. Every time the timer goes off or they say your time is up, you get mad and frustrated. Maybe you even shout that it's not fair. But what if you thought about all the things that you can do without a screen? Maybe you could play a board game with your friend or sibling. Why not go for a bike ride or even just sit outside and look at the birds and the trees? Maybe you could write a play or a song or draw or paint. Maybe you could do all those things. And I bet you'll feel a lot better and you'll be respecting your parents' rules too, which, by the way, they're putting in place in order to help you. Let's think about one that we've experienced. Remember when we couldn't leave our homes a few months ago? It was hard, wasn't it? We missed our friends, we missed out on fun events. Some of you might have even had a birthday during that time, but you couldn't have a party because nobody could leave their house. Looking back on that time, it would be easy to only remember what was difficult and frustrating or sad. What if we looked at that time differently? What are some of the true and noble and lovely and excellent things that have happened during that time, or as a result of that time? And here's the thing, when we look at life the way Paul talked about in his letter, it doesn't mean that things aren't hard or that they won't be hard in the future, but when we choose to focus on what's good in our lives and what God is doing, it allows us to see even the bad things in a whole new way. We can always remember what's true about God. He loves us. He's always with us. He'll be there to help us through the tough times, no matter what. You and I can choose to do this, our bottom line for today. Focus on what's true. When we think that way, we can have joy, even when times are hard, and we can focus on how good God is and how God is working in our lives every single day. Then we'll see the world in a more truthful way. It can be hard for us to do that when life doesn't go the way we want it to. Think about Jesus' disciples. When Jesus died on the cross, it seemed like the worst thing that could possibly happen. They couldn't see how it was part of God's plan, but when Jesus came back to life, they realized that God's plan was good in the end. And that's why it's so important for us to think in a truthful way. Living with integrity means not only being truthful, but also focusing on what is true. So when you feel frustrated because you have to get off the screen, or focus on the fact that you have parents who love you and care about what's best for you. Instead of getting annoyed with your little brother or sister, focus on the fact that it's actually kind of cool to have someone who looks up to you. Instead of being sad about missing out on things, focus on the things you get to do instead. If you choose to look for the good, true, and excellent things, you'll find them all around.